Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We are your hosts, Logan Lazarchik and Luke Lazarchik. We apologize for not having an episode last week.
Yeah.
Luke was a bit under the weather, and we thought it was just best to hold off and wait till he felt better. So
Yeah,
we
the
are
audio
back this
would
week,
have been
though.
bad. The audio,
Yeah, audio would not have been fantastic.
I could talk
so-
for like 10 minutes and then I'd be just drinking water every 5 seconds.
Mhm. Yeah, so we're back this week. We are through the first quarter of the year, NFL season.
Mhm.
Week 4 is now done. We are on to week 5. Luke, what were week 4 was a lot of blowout games.
Yeah, there's a lot of blowout games, and then some games you didn't expect to go certain ways. I feel like we're near the point where we know where everyone kind of is. I think there's still a couple of question marks out there, but we're kind of know where everyone is, I think, nearly.
But we have a pretty packed episode today. We have our main week 4 takeaways, and then we'll be talking about disappointments and most surprising teams, and then close out our show with week 5 predictions. So we'll start with week 4 takeaways, and this week we decided to go with 3 takeaways that we each agreed upon. So our first one are the Bills legit Super Bowl contenders.
No, yeah, that one I could start on that. It's just coming out. Obviously, that week 1 loss was everyone was sort of piling on them. It was like, oh, the Bills are screwed. And now it's just like watching them. Josh Allen has been absolutely insane lately. He's just dicing everyone up. They don't ever. I know they lost White, but they have Von Miller coming back. I mean, Gabe Davis finally looks like he's producing more. The team looks legit, man. I'm not gonna say they're better than the Chiefs yet, but man, they look good. They look good.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference from previous years is that they're not solely dependent on Josh Allen and his running ability. I think this year he's only averaging about 25 yards, 26 yards rushing, and James Cook is taking that next step as a running back. And defensively, Latavius Murray's been very good too. And defensively, they've been good, and that's without even Von Miller being on the field. And now Tre'Davious White will be a big loss in the secondary, but I mean, beating the Dolphins how they beat them by 28 points, and after that first quarter, they kind of took control of the game. I think the Bills, it's really shaping out to be a 2-headed race in the AFC with the Chiefs and the Bills. And you probably sprinkle in some other teams, but those two I think are the top 2 teams in the AFC, and Miami's in there as well.
Yeah, I'd also say Ravens. I saw Odell practice, Bateman practice. I think Stanley practice. I think Humphrey practice. So I think Ravens. No, yeah, the Bills are legit. Do you think if you were to do like a power rankings, would you put them ahead of the Chiefs? Because I don't know.
Bills right now?
Yeah,
I would say so because I think they're hitting on all cylinders offensively and defensively, whereas the Chiefs, there's so many question marks with the Chiefs just penalty-wise and offensive line-wise, and the receivers are just not stepping up the way I thought they would early in the offseason. So I think right now you'd have to put the Bills as the best team in the AFC. And, I mean, we've seen this before from the Bills before, where September they kind of march through and they defeat teams pretty handily. But I think this year's a bit different just because they aren't as dependent on Josh Allen as they have been in the last few years.
I think it's also nice that the Bengals, which we'll probably talk about here right after, they're not there, and that just makes it to where it's easier for the Bills. That's one less. They don't have to worry about Joe Burrow, at least right now. That's kind of nice for them because they've obviously Bengals have had their way with the Bills, and that just opens it up. Josh Allen, I mean, this is probably, if I had to guess, I know he's favored, so it's not like bold, but it's like I bet he takes this MVP right now because if they go 14-3, I mean, take out the Dolphins who are just like they just beat a team by 70. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Bills. Josh Allen, he was like after week 1, I know even I thought it. I was just like, it's like a Carson Wentz 2.0, but not as bad. And it's like, oh, there he is. Did you see the stats? I think Mina Kimes tweeted about him under center.
I have not. I did not see those stats.
I think it was Mina Kimes. It's like he is like under center. He is just like first in everything. I don't know if it was after week 1 because obviously week 1 he threw all those picks and was really bad. But it was like I think it's after week 1. Like he has not been inaccurate on a single throw they took from under center.
Yeah, and the Miami point of view in this game, the thing with Miami is I want to see how they play when the weather gets cold and Tua is not playing the clean pockets all the time. So I think Bills are clearly the best team in the AFC East. I think the most complete team by far, and they have most talent. So I think they'll be there in the end. Just have to see if Josh Allen can keep this up consistently.
No, yeah. Looking at the Patriots, their defense has just been brutalized. I mean, they traded for J.C. Jackson today. The Jets, I like what I saw from my boy Zach. Zach, not bad, but
cost me money.
They're not going to be doing much unless they squeak by and Rodgers has a miracle comeback and is back with them like near 500. So, Bills definitely look great.
So we will stay in the AFC for our next storyline. And is it possible that the Bengals miss out on the playoffs this season?
I say yes, but it's not like if you look at the AFC, so it's like, okay, you got Chiefs are going to win the division. You got Bills are going to win the division or Dolphins, but they're both going to make it. I think we can assume a Ravens, like just we had to pick a team from that AFC North to make it.
I would say Ravens right now, but I have to see how their health every year. Their health.
But right now, that's Ravens, and then I'm just AFC South, whoever it is, just whoever.
AFC South's very interesting. I think.
Could they get a wild card team in? Do you think that's possible? I think that'd be tough, but
Miami takes up a wild card spot.
Chargers.
I think Chargers end up making the playoffs. I think they do. Yeah, they may have to get their last second because I don't trust Brandon Staley, but I think Bengals at this point are fighting for the 6th or 7th seed at this point.
Yeah, and if we assume Dolphins and Chargers are 2 wild card teams, assuming Bills, Dolphins interchangeable for now, assume Ravens.
And Cleveland could. I mean, maybe Cleveland makes a push at the end.
There's Cleveland. There's honestly an AFC South team. I mean, let's just assume Jaguars take the AFC South. They're the most talented.
I think the Colts could be in the playoffs.
But then you're talking about Texans, Colts, Titans, all just like – if the Titans' offensive line play improves to where it's average, I think Titans – if you're telling me right now from week 5 on, Titans have an average offensive line play – I don't know if they're winning the division, but I think they're making the playoffs. Just give them average offensive line play.
I just don't. To be honest, if Jonathan Taylor, and I doubt Jonathan Taylor's going to play the Colts, but if he somehow plays this year on the Colts, that would probably be my wild card pick.
To make the Colts. I'm just like Jonathan Taylor. What about a 2-year extension? Just we'll pay you a lot for 2 years.
I don't think they want to. I think Jim Irsay's not going to pay him.
But if I know, Jim Irsay. It's Jim Irsay, but thinking rationally, just 2 years. You have your starter who's already good, rookie contract. You'll probably pay Pittman, but he won't be $30 million. He'll probably be low 20s. I mean,
yeah,
I'd pay Taylor a little for a couple years. I mean, that'd be something. That'd be something else. I feel like it's
back to the Bengals.
Yeah,
I just think. I mean, T. Higgins fractured his ribs. I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. And even if he does, I'm not confident that they win that game. Arizona's been very good. And I think if they don't win this week, they're 1-4. And then their schedule is really rough.
Yeah.
Middle and end of the year. So, what would you do? Would you sit Joe Burrow and sit and just wait and see if they can win a couple of games while he's out and just let him get fully healthy?
I'm 100% sitting him, and I actually think it's really simple because I think you can be 1-5 and still make the playoffs because teams get on hot streaks.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be 6-7 and Burrow is 60% and he's still not playing like Joe Burrow because you're not winning a Super Bowl out of it.
I don't.
What gives you the best chance to win the Super Bowl? A healthy Joe Burrow. How does he get healthy? He sits. I think it's quite simple. I also think oh yeah. The Bengals found out Orlando Brown isn't good. It's and
So with the Bengals, I don't know if they're ever going to figure out that offensive line.
It's weird.
They've put resources into it, and I don't think it's ever going to mesh. Orlando Brown's not a good left tackle, and Joe Burrow's paying the price. He's been hurt year in and year out. He hasn't played a preseason game in any of the years.
It's weird how talented the offensive line is.
Yeah, it's talented. I just don't. And then Zach Taylor, I don't like the game against the Rams. He had Joe Burrow drop back 52 times, and he threw the ball 49 times because I think he got sacked a handful of times, 3-4 times. So I think Zach Taylor's not a good coach, and I've never been on the Zach Taylor bandwagon or never been a fan of his. I've always thought Joe Burrow's kind of when you have a quarterback that good, he can kind of hide your
Yeah.
struggle and all that type of stuff. So I don't know. I think the Bengals. I think it's just a year where injuries and other things are just going to cost them this season.
I think that it happens every once in a while. Injuries cost seasons, and I think that it's either gonna cost it or you can sit Burrow, lose a couple games, and then try to make something crazy happen.
I think at this point they're stuck in on they're going to keep playing Burrow. Zach Taylor said that Burrow is healthy enough to operate the offense, which he clearly isn't. I mean, they scored 3 points against
not
well.
Not well.
Yeah, they scored 3 points against the Titans team that has been terrible against the pass all year. So, and Jamar Chase is showing his frustrations. I think this year, I think it's gonna be a wasted year, and I mean maybe they'll be bad enough where they have a top 12 pick or something, and then they get a really good player because
there's some good linemen out there. There's some good linemen out there.
And T. Higgins is a free agent, so I wouldn't put it past them to possibly draft a receiver as well if there's one that slips, in that range, if they're in that 10-12 range.
I'm not taking a receiver unless it's Marvin Harrison or unless you want.
But So our last takeaway, and we sadly had to watch this game in Toy Story mode.
There's some positive moments every once in a while.
Yeah, and it was probably as bad as the real life. The Falcons need a quarterback, and Desmond Ridder he's not it. And I don't know what they're going to do this season for the quarterback, if they're going to put Taylor Heineke in at some point, or if they try to let me put this out there. And I know you're probably going to give me some pushback on this. I already know what you're going to say.
I already know what you're going to say. Justin Fields. Huh?
I think if the Bears are 0-6 or something, or like trade deadline, they're still winless. You're telling me you would not trade for Justin Fields?
No.
Because here's the thing with the Falcons. You don't have to depend on Fields to be a pocket passer or be a capable.
Dirt cheap. Sure.
All he has to be is a capable quarterback. And
but he's not
good
capable quarterback.
Okay. Good offensive line. I think your weapons are good enough. Their scheme is so.
You don't even know if he's better than Desmond Ridder.
Oh, I think so.
No, you don't know.
Would Desmond Ridder throw for 4 touchdowns and 335 yards against the Bears?
A couple of those were open. A couple of those were nice plays. He could, and the Denver sucks.
Ridder came and throw 150 yards a game.
Oh, my God.
Okay, if you paired Bijan with Justin Fields.
Okay, yes, it's a very nice running option.
But that's the thing. They were going to be running the ball all the time. So why not open up your run game even more?
You're trying to – that doesn't solve your issues that Drake London and Kyle Pitts are not used well.
No, and I think it's a Desmond Ridder plus a Arthur Smith issue. I don't think it's – I think Desmond Ridder's a bad quarterback, but I think Arthur Smith doesn't – his offensive scheme does not utilize –
You signed Heineke. I've thought about, like, Dobbs and stuff. Like, no, like, you signed Heineke. And, like, I bet they signed him with this specific thing, like, in mind. I bet Ridder is 2 weeks. Bay is 2 weeks to figure it out.
Is Kirk Cousins a potential option? Because Vikings are facing the Chiefs this week.
That's a lock.
Well, yeah, I think so too. I think he'd be clearly the best quarterback in that division. And you put him with the offensive line and those weapons. And the defense doesn't have a great pass rush, but the secondary has been very good. So
I picked up Drake London in fantasy. I don't know if you saw that. I'm waiting for.
I did, and I was like, okay.
I'm waiting for a
you will be wasting a roster
spot. It breaks my heart about Ridder, but at this point, it's just like I think it speaks to the overall quarterback issue that quarterbacks. I mean, also Ridder, the pass blocking for Atlanta has actually been very poor statistically. I don't know why.
I realize that. Like, I think there's a poorly ran, not from a front office standpoint, but just coaching wise. I don't think Arthur Smith is just like, we're just gonna run the ball. And then Jonnu Smith's getting 8 catches, and they're not using Kyle Pitts. It makes absolutely no sense. They need a top 5 pick on Pitts.
I mean, maybe Pitts isn't good, but it's still weird. Like, you at least don't design some stuff for him.
I think Pitts is good. I think that he's not on the field.
It's weird. That's a weird one. That obviously I think people with greater minds than us would know, like all the technical things, and maybe you can't block or whatever. But
so is Drake London not good then? Because he's only getting
Drake London.
Okay, so I think we say the same thing
for a reason, Logan.
I think we say the same thing about both players. I think they're poorly used.
Maybe, but I also still think there's a chance Kyle Pitts just can't block and doesn't run good routes and is just fast. I think there's a chance that's possible.
Because the thing is, I don't think Falcons are, because they're such in a weak division and their schedule is so light. I don't know if they're going to have one of these top picks where, I mean, they can still win the division. I know Buccaneers are in first place. They can still win the division because of how weak that division is. And the Saints are not even as good as we thought they were going to be. And to be honest, I never thought Saints were going to be that good, but they've been even worse than.
But that's why it's not Justin Fields is not the answer. Not some guy who hasn't won a game in like.
No. I would, in a heartbbeat, I would take Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields.
Okay, but it's not that Logan. Justin Fields has not won a game in like a year. Like a whole year.
No, I understand.
Why would you try to win a division and you trade for a quarterback who hasn't won a game in like a year? No, I'd rather have
rolling Ritter out there and trying to win a division.
He's won at least some games in the past calendar year.
Okay,
Logan. Okay. Why would when you're just like we want to win? This year. No, just listen. Just listen. We want to win this year. Let's trade for a quarterback who hasn't won in 360-something days or however.
I understand that, but I don't think it's all on Justin Fields why they haven't won.
Okay, but that's not the point. This isn't an embarrassed conversation. You don't trade for a quarterback when you're trying to win who hasn't won in a year. You play Heineke. You know what? You trade for Dobbs or you trade for some backup. You don't trade for Justin Fields unless it's just dirt cheap and just like screw it.
I think you get Fields for dirt cheap.
I don't know. You're giving him for dirt cheap.
What you're telling me? It's what you okay? What
I'm not giving up anything past like a fifth. The fifth.
Okay, and I think you can give him a fifth for him.
Oh my god! And plus, even after I make that trade, it's like, man, we could just play Heineke. If I trade for Fields, he's not starting over Heineke first week. Heineke's starting until he doesn't.
Okay, yeah, of course. Because Fields. Here's the thing about trading Fields. And this is all speculation, and I'm just throwing an idea out there. But if you trade for Fields mid-year, he still has to learn the offense. So, of course, I think Heineke would start at least a few weeks because you have to let Fields get.
Heineke is starting. If that happens, Heineke's starting until he can't win.
Justin Fields does not. I'm on the same page as you. I'm on the same page as you.
But that Justin Fields.
That's just an idea I threw out there just to test the waters. And like I said, you're going to give me pushback, and that is as advertised.
Give me Dobbs, man. Wait till Kyler Murray comes back. Give me Dobbs. Or just go with Heineke. Or Kirk, if possible. Ryan Tannehill, I want to be bad if Titans start sucking. Justin Fields is way down the list of options. But yes, Falcons, sadly, breaks my heart. I like Ritter. They need a quarterback.
So this conversation kind of leaks into our next topic of biggest disappointments. And I will happily let you go with your first team because I want to see you miserable. I want to see – because all offseason I've had to hear about this team and how good they're going to be and the added pieces. And he was good last year with a handful of touchdowns. He had less touchdowns in games played. I'll just put the name out there. Go ahead. Go start. Yeah, go ahead.
Giants. This is not Daniel Jones, by the way. Don't even start.
Some of it is, but go ahead.
That offensive line sucks. They suck. The defense is they're like allowing teams to run the ball pretty solidly. I think they did a solid job against Kenneth Walker last night. They're supposed to have like Dexter Lawrence and all these guys are Monday night. Man, they suck. Okay, Logan. that offensive line. Okay.
Can we at least admit that not franchise tagging Daniel Jones was a terrible mistake?
No.
Why?
He got sacked like 10 times. I don't care.
I'm not saying that, but you pay the guy $40 million a year. And
Logan, what quarterback's doing well there right now? His one elite offensive lineman hasn't played since week 1. They got slaughtered.
I watched the thing last night on Twitter, or I guess X now. Dan Orlowski, he broke down some of the sacks that Daniel Jones took, and about 3 or 4 of them were his fault because the defense is showing that they're blitzing off the edge, and Daniel Jones should see that and diagnose that. And he has a receiver open in the flat, and he doesn't throw it to him.
Logan, do you know how fast he's dumping off? Maybe because he doesn't want to dump the ball off 30 times because that's all he was doing. He did dump it off 30. He did dump it off 30 times, though. Logan, this is what would it be. This would it be. Okay. Okay. The receiver's here. He runs like 3 yards. Boom. Gets a yard.
I don't think anybody can see what you're drawing.
Right there.
And I still can't see it.
He runs like 3 yards.
Just watch like
I don't care what the says, Logan. He was getting obliterated. I couldn't even watch until the second quarter. I wasn't home till.
So you're telling me the pick 6 he threw wasn't?
That was bad, but I know that's bad. Daniel Jones hasn't been great, but it
Okay,
is
okay,
not
go on.
his fault.
I'm
The
interrupting you, and I
okay,
really want you to
the center
talk
was
about this.
the rookie Schmitz was out.
Yeah,
Andrew Thomas is out. Barkley is out. They had a guard out, so that's 3 linemen. Evan Neal's terrible. I'd already bench him. You give up on Evan Neal. Other guard, I mean, I saw that one where the center and the guard double teamed a guy, and the guy it was just a twist. He just went right down the middle, and Daniel Jones avoids him, but then runs into Bobby Wagner. That happened like 4 times. He was avoiding sacks. He avoided like 5 sacks that most quarterbacks get sacked on. It was terrible.
and
Darren
we've
Waller,
talked.
also, one more thing.
We've
Darren
yes.
Waller's just like, that didn't work. That did
No,
not.
yeah, and I remember in the offseason. Here's the one thing I push back on, because I've heard you say, "Oh, he doesn't have weapons," but all offseason I heard, "Oh, they've upgraded the weapons. Oh, Isaiah Hodgins is actually a pretty good receiver."
When I say pretty good,
But you can't go, "Oh, they actually have good weapons," and then when it's not going well, oh, they don't have
Darren
anybody to throw
Waller
to.
is not. He didn't work out. It's still not elite weapons. Even when I was saying that they're still backing weapons, they don't play Hyatt enough. They need to play Hyatt. He's like,
Well, yeah, I don't understand. He's going to give you the most explosive plays,
okay,
and
Paris
he'll open
Campbell.
up your offense. So
I mean, Wendell Robinson's back. He's everyone. They have no one who's better than fine.
I just think
And they have no line, and their starting running back has missed 2 games. Who's like their one elite offensive
no, I understand.
weapon.
But here's the thing:
What quarterback is succeeding?
I'm not arguing that point. My point is, you had a franchise tag for a reason. Instead of tagging why not give Barkley a 2-year?
I agree. They should have just signed him up.
Give Barkley a 2-year, like $30 million deal, and then you use a tag on Daniel Jones. And if he's doing what he's doing right now, okay, now you can get out of it after this year because he's not showing anything. And yeah, all of it's not his fault, but he's not showing that he's a $40 million quarterback. A $40 million quarterback.
Up. I think $40 million.
Okay, that's great. A $40 million quarterback is supposed to elevate the pieces around the team when it's not going well.
I like to see Patrick Mahomes elevate everything.
Okay.
Can't block.
My point is, you could have had Daniel Jones on a 1-year deal for like $25 million fully guaranteed, and you signed
that. But at this point, that's not what matters.
You cannot tell me the contract was a good contract. You can't tell me that.
I'm not gonna say it's bad because he has the worst offensive line in football, top 5 worst weapon groups in football, best weapon's been hurt for 2 weeks. No, I'm not going to determine that it's bad already. No, I refuse. It's not bad yet. Give me your team. This is ridiculous.
Okay, my team is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I know they're 2-2, and they're tied with every team in their division. But when I watch Jacksonville, Calvin Ridley is supposed to elevate this offense and give Trevor Lawrence a go-to option. Since week 1, Calvin Ridley has not been fantastic, and it's just this happened with Doug Peterson in Philadelphia. First year with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz probably should have won MVP. They win the Super Bowl. Second year, the league kind of figures out their offense. And you kind of saw from that point on, the team from that point on kind of just went downhill. It's the same type of vibe with Jacksonville. And I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is Carson Wentz and his career's going to be derailed. But I think the league has kind of figured out their offense. And to be honest, their defense is and they look good this past week because they're facing Desmond Ridder and the Falcons. But when I watch them, I just don't really see anything that impressive about the team.
What's their defensive stats? Because they held the Chiefs very. I don't think.
The thing with the Chiefs, though, they haven't been able to really do much outside of Chicago.
That's true.
So, the Jaguars, I think, are still a playoff team, and they can still definitely win that division. But, we were talking about a couple weeks ago, I was saying that they could be the 1 seed because of their schedule.
Yeah, but if you're the 1 seed, you got to be good.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's the case anymore. And to be honest, I don't think they're a lock to win that division anymore.
Oh, no, they're not.
Like, I remember when we talked during the offseason, I liked the Colts as a dark horse team to win that division. And to be honest, I thought Richardson, it was going to take him a little bit to develop and kind of get there. It seems like he's way ahead of schedule. So, with that alone, the Jaguars – I don't know. I think they're a first-round exit of the playoffs this year. Even if they get home field advantage, I think they lose the first playoff game.
I think they're still the best team because they still. I know Lawrence is by far the best quarterback still. I think they're going to figure it out. I mean, Calvin really didn't play football for 2 years. So it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. But I don't know, man. Next year, I'm making a lot of bets that Colts winning that division. You got Shane Steichen. The Colts are going to be improved.
Maybe take the Texans.
Anthony Richardson could end up being the best quarterback in that division in a couple of years.
I'm gonna wait. Trevor Lawrence.
No. Wait, but Richardson has been very impressive.
No, I know he's been good.
Like not even running the ball, but like
but it's just players have to adjust to Richardson. They haven't seen him yet. I mean,
well, of course, okay, yeah. But Jacksonville, I don't know. And Jacksonville's offensive line isn't even that great.
The roster is probably not as good as people thought, but still they have enough elite talent. I'm still taking Jacksonville, but they have been disappointing.
I'm still taking Jacksonville win division as well. I'm just saying from expectations this offseason. I mean, you had a lot of pundits saying, "Oh, they'll be the 1 seed. Oh, they could be the AFC Championship game." I don't think that's even.
It was like that Chiefs game was close, but the entire time I was like, "Oh, Chiefs are winning this game." There's more fear against the Jets.
Yeah, they didn't find the end zone.
I mean, this Bills game will be a good opportunity if they can come out.
I can't believe the line opened at 4.5.
Okay, look, whenever we question lines, like we did with the Bengals Titans, I need to stop betting against lines that I think like, oh, that's dumb, and I'm like, wait, there's.
I was on the Bills line this past weekend. That looked really good. I didn't bet it.
The Bills are awesome. That's different. But the Bills could have a bad game. I don't know. This they're given the opportunity. London, they've been there a week. Bills are flying in. Jags have a chance to bounce back, but they don't need to win, but they need to compete against the Bills. Because then you have Colts. If you lose the Bills, that Colts game is must win.
I mean, yeah, if they lost to Atlanta this past week,
then face New Orleans and Pittsburgh. Their schedule's not
where is the Pittsburgh game at? And I'm not saying Pittsburgh's good, but they're always tough to play at home.
Pittsburgh, that is tough. But they're Pittsburgh's a better team.
Yeah,
they're the better team. Yeah, they've been disappointing. I think they'll be fine though. I think they'll figure it out.
So that we mentioned Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That is your next most disappointing team.
I don't care that they're 2-2, and if most people saw they were 2-2, they'd be like, "Oh, well, that's not bad." I mean, but I don't care that they beat Cleveland. That was fluky. I think Deshaun Watson was terrible.
I mean, they had two defensive touchdowns that game.
Yeah, I mean that's fluky. You get killed by the Niners. Fluky win against Cleveland. I mean, think about was it Cleveland where Pickens had the long touchdown against the Raiders?
It was a slant route that he took.
Yeah, Calvin Austin then took a slant against the Raiders. How many drives are they putting together? They couldn't score against San Fran. They couldn't score against Houston. And two defensive touchdowns and 1 long touchdown against Cleveland. And then the Raiders aren't good, and one of them was a long touchdown. And it's just the offense is terrible. I thought Pickett would be better. I think you have nice weapons. Freiermuth is now out for a little bit, I think. Pickens said he's going to play, but we'll see. And then the Raiders game, they could have lost that. So
yeah,
I was high on Pittsburgh, and I don't see it. They're going to go 8-1 or 9-8, but
8-1. You see a tie in there?
Well, you know how Mike Tomlin just doesn't have a losing season.
The thing with Pittsburgh, I think they should fire Matt Canada.
Oh, he's terrible.
As soon as possible. And the offensive line was a bad offensive line last year, and there's all these things saying, oh, they've addressed it. They drafted Broderick Jones out of Georgia to play left tackle, and it still looks exactly the same. Yeah. And their offensive scheme is not even like – it doesn't confuse any defense. It's hand the ball off. There's no hand the ball off to Najee Harris.
A better running back.
No, I think Jalen Warren's a better running back at this point.
Yes, I like Najee's not bad, but I like Warren.
Well, Jalen Warren, his snap percentage has grown in the last few weeks. He was up to 50% snap percentage this past week against Houston.
But that's also their game blown out, and they just put him in at the end.
Well, of course, yeah. But I don't know. I was never a huge fan of Kenny Pickett in the first place, and I thought when they took him in the first round, it was just kind of like their first 2 picks of Najee and Kenny Pickett in the first rounds felt like just forced first-round picks where it was like, it's a clear need we have, and let's just draft it because it's a clear need. But there's probably better players on the board. And Najee, when he came out, he was the best running back in the draft. But as you've seen, running backs have kind of been devalued, and you can find running backs in the latter half of the round.
Najee's a good player. He's just – I think everyone –
He is purely based on – his production is purely based on volume now. The's no
still makes nice runs. He's like this weird. He's a weird athlete, but he's still a good running back. I think. Like he
But I
still
saw
has some problems, but
they're a middle of the pack team this year. Like you said, 9-8, 8-9.
no, yeah, like I don't
And
think
they're a mid first round pick. What are you Kenny Pickett, I don't think is the answer. Like
when
what
we
do
were
you do?
talking about the seventh wildcard team, I didn't even mention Steelers. And it's like if you're say
I don't
Steelers
think
at
that
2-2 and TJ Watt has 6 sacks, it's like oh they could sneak in, but if they sneak in, it'd be like Big Ben's last year when they snuck in. And it's
well
just
here's the thing. You can't sneak in the AFC at 9-8.
I mean, you never know. You could. Stuff happens. I mean, Jets are out. Patriots had a chance. They're just done. I mean, they've been so hurt. And Mac looks bad. They're just take away the Mac. Their whole defense is hurt. They have their whole defense is hurt, and they're done. I mean, Chargers
I
are
don't
1
know.
Bengals look bad. You can always hypothetically sneak in.
Yeah, it's just outside of TJ Watt on that defense too. I mean, their defense has some young talent, but he's by far the most consistent player on that defense. And you lose Cam Hayward.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I forgot about Cam Hayward. Yeah, they don't have Cam Hayward.
So and really outside George Pickens, they don't really have a reliable weapon in the pass game. I mean, you have Pat
I know they're a little hurt, but yeah, there's not enough foundation to be like, oh, once they get these guys back, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs, and I think it's gonna be a long season. This may be the first year in whatever years that they finish under 500. I know Mike Tomlin's had a streak.
It seems like it's impossible, man. That year with Big Ben, I mean,
yeah, but I don't know. This Matt Canada offense is terrible, and it's unwatchable.
It hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm. My final disappointment team, and we didn't really have high expectations for this team, but we thought that they would step up and improve from last season, which you could only get better from last season, and that's the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 1-3, and I didn't think they would make the playoffs to begin with, but that defense, I mean, last year that defense was the reason they stayed in games, and now it looks like
clearly a stud.
Yeah, it's just the defense has completely flipped. I mean, you have Pat Surtain, and they have no pass rush to speak of, and I think
that's why Randy Gregory today. That's wild.
And I think the reason why their defense is so bad is because of that lack of pass rush, especially in today's NFL. You can only guard for so long. So when you have no pass rush and you're not against the quarterback, cornerbacks and safeties are going to get exposed. So, and Sean Payton gave these lofty expectations and ripping on former coaches of the Broncos, and they look worse than last year. And maybe offensively they look at least competent, but they should have lost. They should have lost to Chicago.
Oh yeah, they got lucky.
And their next 3 games are
Jets,
or the next 4 are Jets, Chiefs twice, and Packers. If they didn't win this past week, and I think the Jets are going to be very motivated to win, I think they'd be 0-8, maybe 1-7. Maybe they'd beat the Jets, but I think they would be 0-8, 1-7.
It's not on Russ. It's weird.
No, Russ is actually there's some passes he made. Like his deep ball is still there.
Oh yeah, it's still
like
there.
I don't think he's the athlete he once was. But I don't think he's completely washed from a throwing standpoint. I think it's just like he's not as elusive, and he's not going to make these plays out of the pocket like you see from Mahomes or Allen.
At the same time, the offense is still disappointing because, like, Judy, I know he was hurt, but Judy's good. Cortland Sutton's a good receiver. Marvin Mims, you could tell, is already nice. Javante's hurt, but Jaleel McLaughlin, he's good. Samaji's not bad. I mean, the offense is still like, okay, Sean, you're Sean Payton. Make it, like, really good. So, I mean, I think you have to beat the Jets. I don't think they beat the Jets. Zach Wilson train, but it's disappointing. It's the defense is like you're at least thinking it's like, okay, they're gonna cause issues. Didn't realize how good Evero was. It's like that dude is a stud. I mean, Panthers have shown some good stuff on defense, better because they don't have much talent on defense.
Let's think about this. If the Broncos had the defense that they had last year, or just let's say 80% of the defense they had last year, production-wise and just how they played, what would the record be right now? Because the offense is clearly better.
You beat Washington. You
beat Washington. You probably beat the Raiders.
Oh, I mean, they held.
They lost by 1. I know, but you lost by 1.
Like 17.
I know. But
what else you can ask of them in that game?
Well, Sean Payton started the game with a stupid onside kick. I mean, that gave Raiders 7 free points. I mean, yeah, but if you took that defense from last year and just put their numbers to this team's production on this year's team. I think they would be 2-2, 3-1 maybe.
No,
But
yeah.
I mean they're 1-3. I think the problem for the Broncos stems on both of the offensive line and defensive lines. No pressure, and I think their offensive line is not that great. Like Mike McGlinchey, he's not that great. And they paid a lot of money for him. So, and they're going to be in hell. I don't know what you do with, like, I guess you just cut bait with them and just eat the dead cap.
I think that's what you have to do.
And basically that money, you're basically never going to have the luxury of having a quarterback on a rookie contract because you'll be paying that money cap. But at least the production for the quarterback will be better than what you have from Russell Wilson.
It's also hard because you have Sean Payton and you traded for Sean Payton.
Yeah, so
it's tough.
I don't know what they do. I guess
they don't have their second round pick this year.
I think they take quarterback first round, and they may just say screw it.
What if you're like pick 9 and it's like, no.
Well, okay, here's the thing. George Payton's gonna be fired. He just will be.
Who?
George Payton.
Oh, GM. Yeah, he has to, right? Yeah,
he'll be fired. I think you may have to be really aggressive and just sacrifice another first-round pick and trade up to get a quarterback.
You already don't have your second this year.
No, I realize that, but
I think you're just screwed. You're just gonna have to pick with what you got. I think.
And Sean Payton didn't choose. The only reason he took that Russell Wilson or the Denver job is because the Chargers job wasn't open. I truly believe that he was wanting to work with Justin Herbert, and
that's what they say. That's what they say.
So yeah, I don't know. The Broncos, it's just crazy. I mean, they may be the worst. They probably the worst situation in the AFC West, clearly, because all the other teams, the Raiders can find a quarterback through the draft, and Chargers have their quarterback. So
Raiders isn't good.
Well, no, but I'm saying that they have their draft capital where they don't, and they have draft capital where they don't have to give up to get a quarterback in the draft if they wanted to do that. Broncos, I don't know what you do at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's a tough road. There's
no answers. So now we will move on to most surprising teams, and we will start with your first one.
I'm going to say Colts to start off with. Colts, it's just like, I knew Anthony Richardson would be good, but in different ways. I didn't expect it with him throwing deep balls down the field and stuff. The defense has shown to be formidable. It's like, I'm not thinking it's like they could. I don't think they would. I still don't know how I'd rank the second, third, and fourth teams. I don't know the division because I like Texans. Also, Texans offensive coordinator was from San Francisco. I forgot his name. I was looking him up the other day. San Francisco guy. So wouldn't be surprised the offensive coordinator is the head coach after seeing what he's doing. But I'm pretty surprised. I had them finishing last in the division. I thought they were going to be like third pick, getting some stud the Penn State tackle or something. But they're formidable. They're a team that on any given week can beat anyone. And it's nice when you have two good quarterbacks. Two formidable quarterbacks who can come in and win a game. They did get lucky against the Ravens. They straight up, the refs screwed it up. Game should have been over. Justin Tucker also missed a field goal. A lot of weird stuff happened, but they still fought them to the end. So yeah, the Colts, I'm excited for them. Next year, they should be even better. I don't know if they're going to get another receiver because they
I think they have to.
I don't know.
Because I don't know how many really good receivers are. Because the thing
Downs is solid. Pittman's
not a number one receiver, though.
I know, but maybe it's hard to add a fourth guy. You're just not going to let these receivers develop at all. Let's let them develop.
If you're telling me they can get somebody really good to – well, how about this? They won't. I don't think they'll draft one. I think they trade for somebody. But again, what if they did this? What if they did
this? Do you want to be
what if they did this? I think it's actually be very interesting because they already have a player that's similar to this player. This player right now would be a free agent after this season. What if they went out and got Mike Evans? This offseason, they go Mike Evans and Michael Pittman.
You already have. I don't know because you have Pierce.
Because I'm trying to think of. How about T. Higgins?
They already have size. All three of their receivers are bigger.
I know, but I think Pittman's ceiling's they came back from 20-0.
It's not about Pittman.
Pittman had one catch.
It's not about Pittman.
Oh, so what? You just get a small receiver then?
No, but you have Pierce and Downs who each seem like formidable NFL. starting wide receivers. Are you really going to just push? You drafted them, develop them. You don't know what can happen. I'm not receiver is not my first thing.
No, for them though. I would probably go offensive line or somewhere defensively before I even went to receiver.
Receiver can wait a whole year. You give them 2 years.
The reason, so to be honest, if you asked me today to rank how I think the AFC South finishes, I think it would be, man, this is so tough because I think Jacksonville should win the division, but I'm starting to lean that Colts win division, then Jacksonville, then Texans, then the Titans.
I need to see more from the Colts before I put them ahead of Jags. I mean, they should.
Okay, after next week, because the Colts face the Jags next week in Week 6. That game will be very telling because if the Jags lose this week and then Colts beat them.
No, yeah, that's what I said earlier with the Jags.
And I think the Colts win this week. So Colts could easily be 4-2 and Jags could be 2-4.
I'm not. After Week Colts 6. Titans. I don't think you can just pencil in a win. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, but I'm with you on the Colts. We were both big Anthony Richardson fans, just from a developmental standpoint, where we thought his ceiling was gonna be super high. But he's came in and he's already shown that he can win from the pocket. And the throws he makes, he's just flicking his wrist. And
he's a stud. But again, defenses will adjust. This is why they're not going to win division, in my opinion. Defenses are now going to have tape on him, and he's not going to be. He's going to. Him and Stroud are going to.
There'll be definitely games where it's like, I mean, even this past week, he was only 12 or 24, but he was throwing so far down the field. I think he had over 200 yards in the game.
But I still think there'll be weeks where it's like him and Stroud each have some duds. Mm-hmm. It's because teams are going to have more film on them.
Mm-hmm. So my team, we are staying in the division. It's the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a pretty big C.J. Stroud guy coming out of the draft. I really like C.J. Stroud. But I remember watching it was the Houston Texans versus Patriots preseason game. I remember watching the game, and the offensive line was getting torn to shreds. And I know I don't want to take too much from a preseason game, but it was like, this is going to be a long season for the Texans. I thought their offense, they have a lot of young receivers on the team. And what was most impressive about this team this year and what they did to make moves. Most of the time when you have a lot of money, you just throw it at players and you overpay players. Yeah. The Texans made a handful of B to B plus signings. They got Jimmy Ward, San Francisco. He knows the system. He knows D'Amico Ryans, and he's a solid safety. Mm-hmm. You get Robert Woods, who at this point isn't going to be a world beater, but he is going to be a solid receiver for C.J. Stroud, a veteran wide receiver. And then Nico Collins and Tank Dell. They've both stepped up, and Tank Dell's a rookie and has shown that he's very good. So I think the Texans and C.J. Stroud, I think he's had the most yards through 4 games for a rookie in NFL history and no interceptions. I think the Texans in a year or two could really maybe possibly make a push for a playoff spot.
No, yeah, I think it's really cool. I think like Nico Collins just coming out of nowhere and just being a stud. Honestly, that's my favorite storyline. It's like, oh yeah. And there's a lot, like the whole, like Stroud's obvious, Nico Collins, the offensive line producing with like it all backups. Just that's really cool. I mean, we'll see on the defense. They shut down the Steelers, but also, as I said earlier, Steelers offense kind of sucks. But no, AFC South is looking interesting. I mean, if you're the Jags, you're just looking like, shoot, Trevor Lawrence is going to have some competition. If you're the Titans, you're looking like Will Levis, Malik Willis. Are you guys going to be anything? Probably not. We'll see. Still haven't played, so you got to give them their chance, or got to give at least Levis his chance. But yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I mean, Tank Dell's fun. I think it's perfect. It's perfect, like non-superstar receiver group. Just having Tank Dell, rookie, Nico Collins. He's third year, right?
I believe so.
Third year. A guy who hasn't done much. Every once in a while looks solid, and then really playing well. Woods, a vet, a nice solid tight end, and Schultz. Tough.
Schultz hasn't done much this year, though.
But I bet he will. I bet he will more. I mean, Nico Collins is playing really well. So, And then Pierce, hard-nosed runner. It's a fun time. The Will Anderson trade, I think you could sort of say now, it's like, okay, that's not going to be stupid. Not missing out on Marvin Harrison. That's not.
I mean, yeah. Remember, we were thinking like, the Cardinals, they may have the top 2 picks because of.
No, that's definitely not happening at all anymore.
I think Houston may still be a top. They're going to be a top half of the draft. But I don't know if it's gonna be top 10 anymore. I
Oh yeah, and
really
if
don't
Will
know.
Anderson's a stud, then it's fine.
And I remember during the draft, it was like, oh, the Texans are not going to take Stroud. Like there's talk of Stroud.
That always seemed off.
It did seem off. And I remember like his odds for being drafted second were at plus odds at one point, and I should have jumped on it.
I threw a free $20 bet at like plus 150, and I should have just made it a regular $20 bet. It's like, I want a little money, but that was.
I mean, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I think, but I think there's gonna be a point where the Panthers are going to regret not taking Stroud.
I'm gonna hold off on that.
I really do.
I'm going to hold off on that. I think that's too early to call. Bryce Young.
Stroud has looked really good.
No, he has, but okay. But there's been plenty of players who looked really good and then have faltered. That's way too early. I'm not even thinking about that. Not at all. I like what I see, but not even thinking about that.
So yeah, we'll move on to your next team, and it's a team that was included in this trade for Will Anderson.
Yeah, the Cardinals. I mean, I know they're 1-3, but I mean, I came in thinking they were going to be a dumpster fire. And you see, it's like they compete hard. I know they lost by 18 to the Niners, but it's like, I mean, for Christian McCaffrey touchdowns, which I will always be a fan of this year. Give me my Christian McCaffrey touchdowns, CMC all the time. But they just seem like they have structure, and I feel like that's one of the best things. I mean, you have Josh Dobbs get traded in like a week before the season, and he's playing really well. It's like when Kyler comes back, maybe you can trade Dobbs for something for a team who, as I mentioned earlier, Atlanta, but maybe someone else who just needs a starting quarterback and who has talent but just not at the quarterback position. Even if they win only 5 games, what I've seen is like, okay, I trust their future. Even if they don't have the pick for Caleb Williams or Drake May, and the Texans are, even if it's the 7th and 10th pick, and then you're like, we're not getting these 2 superstars. I like what I've seen from a structure standpoint, and it should only grow. Hopefully, I mean, Kyler can just be your quarterback. He was still really good. He has his issues. Kyler can still be your quarterback, and you can be just fine. So I'm excited for the Cardinals in the future next year. I mean, if keep Marquise Brown, Michael Wilson looks nice. I mean, James.
They find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and you have Marquise Brown and Marvin Harrison.
Or Brock.
Yeah, maybe. I just think you probably need another. I mean, Michael Wilson, Marquise Brown, and Marvin Harrison Jr. would be.
I mean, yeah, but you don't need Marvin Harrison. If I'm them, I'd still say, Paris Johnson's looked good. They have, is it DJ Humphries at their other tackle? It's like maybe you get one of those tackles, or maybe you go get a good pass rusher. I don't think they're limited to what position.
No, of course not. I think to be honest, I think offensive line would probably be the move because you have Kyler Murray back there.
I think they're in a cool spot right now where it's
and
like,
to be honest, what's
we're
so
not going
surprised
to
about
make
the Cardinals,
but we're fun football.
What's so surprised about the Cardinals is that when they got Josh Dobbs and they declared him the starter, I remember seeing him like, okay, we everybody saw them like, okay, they're going full tank for Caleb.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gonna be the most unwatchable team in the league. And I can name a handful of teams that have been way worse to watch than
the
Cardinals. The Cardinals have actually been a fun team to watch offensively.
No, yeah. Dobbs is like maybe a actual starter in this league. It's always is he gonna have like this Geno Smith type of deal, or
I'm not too sure, but the Cardinals have been a fun team, and I think they'll probably still be a top 5, top 6 pick. But I think they have some building blocks here that they get built around for the future.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree.
My last surprising team, and this pains me to do this because it just pains me. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have to talk about Baker Mayfield, and I'm not a fan, but I have to do it. They're 3-1 right now, and they're winning their division. And Baker Mayfield has clearly been the best quarterback in that division.
Oh yeah.
And they handedly beat the Saints last week, 26-9. And I really thought coming to this year, like in fantasy football, I stayed away from all their weapons because I was like, I'm not trusting Baker Mayfield to deliver the ball. But he's been pretty good. He's been solid to above average. I'm not gonna say he's back to his stature for the number 1 pick, but I think he's been very solid. And defensively, they've been good. their run game has been all right, but I think the fact that they're 3-1 and they're in a fight to win that division this year, I was shocked. I thought in all of my like parlays and all that, I didn't put Buccaneers in one of them because I thought it was either going to be Saints or the Falcons because of talent wise. But the Buccaneers have been very good, and I mean they may win this division.
If I had to pick right now, sadly for all my bets, I'd pick Tampa. But here's the thing. I was always a little scared about them when I put Falcons because
We still know about Ritter.
veteran talent. The veteran talent is still there. It's not gone. It's just not as much. It's still there. I mean, that defense has the linebackers, White and David, Vita Vea, Barrett. I mean, I think I'm forgetting a name or two, but like they still have some solid talent. Offense, 2 good weapons. I mean, they're not bad. And Baker, for all you want to say about Baker, he's looked good before, and they're buying into Baker, obviously. And sometimes it's all you need is just like a team who buys into their quarterback. You may know he's not the best or the most talented, but Baker's a dog. He's a dog. No matter what you say, he's a dog. And that's all like they really need right now is a dog. I mean, last year with Tom, I think it was just weird because he retired and then came back. I think that was just weird.
And I think expectations also change a lot because Baker with a lot of expectations kind of struggled, but when he's written off and there's no expectations for his team, I mean, they're playing with house money. Nobody was believing in them. So, and the first 3 weeks out of their bye, which their bye week is this week, which is probably perfect timing for them because Mike Evans is dealing with a injury. Their first 3 games out of the bye, you have the Lions, Falcons, and Bills. That'll be very telling of where this team truly is. So if they can go, man, it's tough because I think Lions and Buffalo are clearly better than them.
Just win a game.
We'll have to see what the Falcons are like. So. I mean, the Falcons maybe at that point have Taylor Heineke, and maybe they're a completely different team. So I know the first 3 games will be telling, and then they face they're at Houston and then Titans and then San Francisco. So that's kind of a tough 6-game stretch with teams that Houston and Titans aren't fantastic, but I think they kind of proven that they can play with anybody in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I think there's only like 3 teams where you're like, oh, that's a walk away win. I mean, I think with the division, I don't care that Saints were 2-2. I think Saints are worse than people think. I think they're worse.
Oh yeah, I'm never a huge Derek Carr fan, but I think if you were a Derek Carr like proponent,
they're not good. I don't think they're good. Panthers obviously. So I think it's a 2-head race for the division, and if you gave Falcons good quarterback play, I still say the Falcons have a better roster, but they're not pass blocking great, and the Falcons are also not getting to the passer much. So they're disappointing.
Yeah, they're pass rusher,
but Tampa's in full position to you don't need to be world beaters. Just like get the wins you should win, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, you could definitely win the division at 9-8, 10-7, I think. So you don't have to be fantastic. You can be. I mean, they can have a stretch this year where they don't win, they start going on a losing streak, and I still think they can win the division.
No, yeah. So. I think they're a good roster still. They're still like a at least average roster. So take away quarterback, average roster, yeah. So, I wouldn't want to face them, especially if Baker's like in one of his moods and he's just going at you. So not an easy team, and it's kind of cool to see, except for all my division bets.
Yeah, I feel your pain there. None of my division bets are looking fantastic, so – I had Cincinnati and Field too, so we'll see how the year plays out. But we will move on to our Week 5 predictions, and we will start with tomorrow's game: Bears at Commanders, and the Commanders are 5.5-point favorites.
We're just going rapid fire here. You go rapid fire.
Yeah, you can go in depth if you want to.
I'll probably go rapid fire. I've been 50-50 on this game. I'm gonna say Washington barely holds out.
Yeah, I think the Bears, are going to be playing very desperate in this game. I think you're going to see a game plan where it fits Justin Fields. They may throw everything out the window and just be like, Justin Fields, we're going to run you a bunch, and we're going to get you easy throws. Kind of like the game last week. But I still think Commanders win. I don't think they cover, though. I think it's going to be like a 3-point game. I'll say like 20-17.
I think it's a field goal game.
Yep. Next game, London, Jacksonville against the Bills. The Bills are -5.5.
I looked at it a little weird. I mentioned earlier how not to when Vegas has those lines, but still going to go Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen's playing great, and until he doesn't play great, I'm going to assume he continues to play at this level, plays at MVP level. So I'm taking Bills probably tough. It's going to be tough for me to not take Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills win this one pretty comfortably. I'm not gonna say a blowout, but I think they win by double digits. So I think it'd be comfortable. Texans at Falcons, and the Falcons are -1.5 point favorites.
See, everyone's going to take the Texans here, and I like the Texans. As I said earlier, I like what they're doing, and the Falcons are sort of and me. I'm taking the Falcons here. I don't have the stats from me, but I believe the Texans haven't been a great run defense.
Yeah, they've been. I think they're the second worst in the league.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So I think we're getting a big Bijan game, Algier game. I think the team is going to lock it and like, hey, we need to win this one. So I honestly think Falcons will win, and I think they'll cover, and it'll be a little more comfortable than people think. I think this will be the one where everyone's picking Texans, and then Falcons come in. It's like, oh, we're still not bad. So give me Falcons.
I want to be on that thought process, but I don't know if the Falcons have any confidence in their game plan or their quarterback. I don't think any of the players do. So
I'm not going to start assuming. That's too much to assume.
I mean, Matt Collins was yelling at Desmond Ridder.
See, that happens. It's football. Man.
I think the Texans win this game. I think
football. You're going to base a win because Matt Collins yelled at his quarter.
No. But I'm saying overall, I think the vibe in that team is not good, and I think the Texans win this game. And I think it's gonna be. I think they win by a field.
You don't know what the vibe is, Larry. What else has been bad besides yelling on the sidelines, talking vibes?
Their whole offensive scheme has been bad.
But what vibes?
That's just my personal opinion. That I don't think there's good vibes.
You can't judge vibes based off of one thing yelling because a quarterback played bad.
I'm not saying, okay, but I think the Texans win.
That's ridiculous.
I think the Texans win this game. I'll say by a field goal of 4 points.
5.
Next game, Panthers at Lions. Lions are -9.5.
Yeah, Lions.
I think Lions win too. Amon-Ra, they don't know if he's going to play. I did see that. I still think they win, but I don't know the spread.
I'd rest Amon-Ra. I'd rest him.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, and they get Jameson Williams back this week.
Don't they have a bye next week too?
The Lions?
I don't know why I think that.
No, they play Tampa Bay next week.
Oh. Okay,
so yeah. So I think Lions win this, and I think their defense is going to dominate this game. So I think it'll be a blowout. Titans at Colts. The Titans are 1 point favorites.
This is a good game. I'm gonna say Titans, but it's gonna be one where it's like maybe my least confident pick. Whatever team I picked, it'd be my least confident pick. But the Titans just bulldozed, and I don't think the Colts defense is good enough to just like shut down Derrick Henry. And if Derrick Henry has his legs chopping, he can beat anyone any week. And the Titans defense has had some success. So I'm going to take Titans in a close one. Best player on the field, I think, is still Derrick Henry. So
I think the Colts win this. And an interesting thing that I think we have to pay attention to this game is that the Titans are a very good run defense. But maybe Richardson, because of his running ability, kind of opens that up a little bit. So I think I'll take the Colts in this one. And I think you can exploit the Titans' pass defense. So I think Richardson, his legs will play a big part in this game. I think Colts win by 5 points. I'll say 26-21.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the vets. Give me the vets.
Next game, and this line has sadly moved before I could bet on it. Giants at Dolphins. The Dolphins were 9.5 about 2 hours ago. It's now Dolphins -11.5. So
I saw he said Andrew Thomas isn't playing.
Yeah,
Don't act like you need to analyze. It's Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. And Danny Nichols will probably throw like 2 more picks. So
shut up.
Okay, next game. Saints at Patriots, and for some reason you're kind of high on Mac Jones, or you bet on him. You bet on him last week. I don't know why you put your money on that. The Patriots are 1 point favorites.
That was not smart.
That makes you feel better for putting money on the Patriots. They are 1 point.
Honestly, I said my statement about the Titans Colts earlier. I was wrong. This is my
this one's way worse.
I'm taking Patriots, but it's just like Gonzalez is hurt, Judon's hurt.
That's the reason I'm picking the Saints.
I can't blame. Even though I think the Saints are bad, I can't.
Yeah, but I think this is a Chris Olave bounce back game. Michael Thomas has been surprisingly pretty solid. And the Patriots, I don't think they'll be able to stop them pass rush wise on defensive line or in the pass game. So I think Saints win this. And it's going to be an ugly game. I'm not even going to watch this. I hope to God it's not Sunday. Just make it a local game so I can watch Sunday Ticket and watch 4 good games. I'll say it's like 17-14 Saints. That's like the type of game I think it's going to be. Next game, Ravens at Steelers. The Ravens are 4-point favorites.
Oh, I think Ravens Steelers. I'm pretty confident in Ravens. Players come back or not, as I talked about earlier, I have no faith in the Steelers. It's a division game. Lamar, if you watch, he doesn't have these great stats, but like as a passer in the pocket, he is improving. I think that people don't realize how good Lamar is at the moment. I don't think they realize it. He's had his weapons hurt. I don't think people know how good the Ravens are yet. And they're saying they're hurt, but they're going to come back, or some of them will. Also, I picked up Keaton Mitchell for us in Dynasty. Hopefully that gives us a running back.
Congratulations. He won't do anything.
You're going to be rooting against him? We need him.
I'm not rooting against him. I'm just saying he's not going to be doing anything. I think Ravens win this game. I think the Ravens win this game, and I don't even think Pickett's going to be playing this game. I think it'll be Trubisky.
I don't think it matters.
Even if Pickett plays, he's probably at a point because of injury. He's probably at a Trubisky level. So I think, and I love this value at Ravens -4. So I'll take the Ravens. I think they win this game by at least a touchdown. Even though it's in Pittsburgh, I think the Ravens wins pretty comfortably. Next game, this is probably one of the most interesting games in the week. Eagles at Rams. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites.
Give me my Rams.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have Cooper Kupp back. You're gonna have Puka back. Tutu solid. Van Jefferson's not terrible. You got the left tackle. Did he? I still don't even know his name. I feel terrible. What's the left tackle's name? Did he play against the Colts? Did he play against the Colts? The Eagles have not.
Did he play? I don't know if he played, to be quite honest with you.
It doesn't matter. They beat the Colts and they should have beat them by more. They sort of let up. They should have done that. Defense, I think you can admit the Rams' defense is better than you thought it would be.
Yeah, I'd say that. I would say that. Yeah,
I called it. But the Eagles have been disappointing game after game.
Saying you called that for 4 weeks. Go ahead.
Oh, dude,
it's in 4 weeks. You're saying you're calling
Daniel Jones stuff. Stop it.
Yeah, I told you I called Daniel Jones in the offseason.
Don't even.
I told you in June I called him.
We're not doing this. We've already discussed this. Stop it.
I mean, it's not worth talking about. Go on.
But
not worth paying.
It made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, the Eagles offense. The Eagles offense still looks like it's just thrown together. AJ Brown has been amazing, but it looks like it's just turning into we need yards. AJ Brown's underrated receiver. I feel like he's finally gonna get that recognition as like a legit top 5 to 10 guy.
Oh, I think he's already top 10 before.
Oh yeah, no, but I don't think he was consensus. I knew he's top 10, but I don't think it's consensus. If you would ask people who's better, DK or AJ Brown, I think you get a small amount of people saying DK. I'm not saying that's right, but I think people would say
AJ Brown had 12 receiving yards last year.
I agree with that. I'm saying what people would say, not what AJ Brown's. You know how much I like AJ Brown, but I think Rams are a good enough team. Stafford's talking about dogs. Stafford's a dog, but I think they're gonna squeak by with the win. They should have beat the Bengals. They got screwed by the refs on that Tutu Atwell touchdown. I'm still gonna be upset about that because 100-something. I should have won that bet parlay. But give me the Rams in a close upset. Stafford's gonna ball. Cooper Kupp and Puka. Oh.
I think the Rams keep it close. But the problem with the Rams, this Eagles defensive line is so good, and the Rams already don't have the best running backs.
It's Washington, who has no offensive line.
No, I realize that, but I also think they went to a mindset of that game where they saw Buffalo beat down on the Washington, and it was like, okay, we could take this game.
They still won. That's part of my point. I think they're still going to be a little.
I think it's going to take some time because here's the thing: they have a new defense coordinator and offense coordinator, so they're going to have to figure things out.
Who says they're ready for the Rams? Then Stafford is better than Howell.
I think the defensive line and offensive line is going to dominate this game.
But why would they?
I think they keep it close because
the Rams.
What'd you say?
Why do they all of a sudden turn around against the Rams? I think the Rams.
Last week may have woken up, but I still think the Rams, because they're getting Cooper Kupp back, they'll keep this game close. But I think at key spots, the offensive line and defense line for the Eagles will come up big. So I think I think this could easily be a field goal game. And the spread is 4.5. So can I see the Eagles win by 5? Yeah. Can I see them winning by 3 or 2? Yes. I probably wouldn't touch the spread in this game. But I think the Eagles do find a way to win this game. And when you look, we were talking about this yesterday. When you look at their schedule, they have to start the season out 6-0 because they have an 8-week stretch where it's like
have to. I think these all have to things are kind of. I think you overblow.
Okay,
you don't have to do all these things.
Okay, well, it would probably be nice if they start 6-0 because the next 8 weeks is pretty rough. But I think the Eagles win this game, and I think it's going to be pretty close. Though I think the Rams keep it close for the majority of the game.
Cooper Kupp, Stafford is real quick. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback, but like week 5, Stafford's a better quarterback. If you understand what
I think that Jalen Hurts. I've always thought he was a good quarterback. Like I'm not always, but
no, you didn't.
I've always thought he's been a tad overrated. And I think this year's kind of showing that he's a tad overrated. You can't tell me he's better than Justin Herbert. And I know but I think Justin Herbert's better. Jalen Hurts has everything.
I would say Herbert, but I still think Hurts is really good. But I think
Jalen Hurts has everything from stability and foundation that Justin Herbert does not have any of. That whole Chargers organization.
You do not need to go into a whole Herbert Hurts thing.
Okay. Herbert's better. But okay, next game. Bengals at Cardinals. Bengals at -3. And I remember on Sunday night it was Bengals -6. And I wish I jumped on that and bet it. But yeah, it's Bengals -3 now. I can't tell the
I think the Bengals defense. I'm just like thinking. I think the Bengals defense steps up enough. I think Burrow steps up enough. Bengals, I'm gonna say the line's pretty good, and it's a close game. But I'm gonna take Joe.
I think it's good value on both sides if you're betting. Like if you told me before you can get Bengals -3 against Cardinals, I would have jumped on it.
Well, yeah.
I don't. I want to pick Cardinals in this game, but can I see the Bengals drop to 1-4?
Oh yeah, I can see it. I'm not. Nothing can shock me.
I'm gonna take the Cardinals. They're at home.
Yeah, I'm pretty close on it. So
if this was at Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati would pull through. But it's at Arizona, and Arizona's actually been very good at home this year. They beat Cowboys at home.
If Connor can run,
and that first half against the Giants is kind of looking like as the season goes on, it's looking less and less impressive because we already know. But I think the Cardinals do. I think they find a way to win this game. I think it's close though, so I think it's like a 1-possession game. I think Cardinals probably win by a field goal if I had to pick Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, it'll be a good game.
Next game, one of the most interesting games of the week, and it's a pair of 1-3 teams. Probably shouldn't be that interesting, but Jets at Broncos.
Zach Wilson, baby.
Broncos -1.5.
Zach Wilson, baby. He was back shoulder god against the Chiefs.
It cost me so much money.
Yeah.
I had one leg in my parlay. I think the Chiefs cover 7.5.
But look at the bright side. Zach Wilson looks pretty good.
How's that bright side for me?
Because we love Zach Wilson here.
I do not love Zach Wilson.
I love Zach Wilson here. But I am even starting Garrett Wilson in fantasy this week. That also talks about my receiver core. Because I'm also probably starting Puka, and I'm Drake London. But it's just straight gut calls. But okay, but seriously, I mean, the Jets' defense is still really good. Broncos' offense has been fine, but nothing great. And I think I trust Zach enough to score like 20. This Broncos defense is bad. Score like 24, 27, and take it home.
Here's the thing. I don't even think
Breece Hall's not limited anymore.
This is why I think the Jets win. The Broncos have the worst running defense in the league. You don't even have to have Zach Wilson drop back that much. Just run the ball.
I think
you have Breece Hall too. You have Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Michael Carter. Just hand the ball off, and you can get some drives going.
And
then that defense,
they wasted.
I don't think the Broncos receivers get anything going in this game. I think that Jets defense is going to lock them up in the pass game, and then run game. I mean, Jamonte's not 100%, and I'm not going to trust McCaughlin, or whatever the hell his name is, to be good in this game. And Jets run defense isn't fantastic, but I think their pass defense is so good, and their pass rush is going to be good against this bad Denver offensive line. I think they win this game. And if it was you had to depend on Zach Wilson to make plays, because last week could have been a fluke or it could have been something to be something.
Ooh, no fluke.
But But because they don't have to depend on him and they just run the ball, that's why I think they win this game.
Yeah, I like the run game. I think Wilson does enough. Garrett Wilson touchdown, baby.
I'm going to say 20-16 Jets.
I'm going to say 27-21 Jets. Broncos defense sucks, Logan. They suck.
27. Okay. Well, okay.
They just scored 20
this is a side conversation. But, and you love Zach Wilson. If he does not do what Justin Fields did last week, can we at least give Justin Fields? But can we give Fields some credit? Can we give Fields some
4 touchdowns?
No, I know. But
what Zach Wilson did against the Chiefs was more impressive than what Justin Fields did.
Next game, Chiefs and Vikings. Chiefs -4. And I'm shocked that this is the line.
Well, okay, I'm not shocked because
there could be a backdoor.
The offense does not look good yet. I think it's going to be fine, but these receivers are bad. Sky Moore is a bad pick. He's a bad pick. Kadarius Toney does not.
There are so many games even preseason I watch. It's like, where's Sky Moore?
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is on the field for like 10 snaps. It's like,
Justin Watson's getting snaps over him.
At this point, I don't care. I don't care that whatever it is about Kadarius. If he's held, just play him. He has talent. Play him.
We thought he got hurt on that catch he made on the wheel.
Every Kadarius Toney catch is scary.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna still say the Chiefs. I honestly could see if Kirk has one of those games. I think it's possible Chiefs lose, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
It's possible. I think here's the thing. The Vikings defense is so bad. They beat the Panthers last week by 8 points. 8. And this isn't 1 o'clock Kirk.
Okay, but they only allowed. Okay, but they threw. That was fluky too.
Okay, they have 13 points. Whoopie flipping do. It's the Panthers, man. Their best weapon is Adam Thielen at 33 years old.
No, I agree, but they only allowed 13 points, so the defense wasn't bad.
Okay, I'm not going to take much into that. That's like
I'm not saying defense is good, but you're criticizing them for allowing 13 points. You're just criticizing them on the wrong thing here.
Okay, well, I think the Chiefs drop 30 in this game, and I don't think it's going to be an air raid attack. But I think Pacheco last week, I think he kind of showed the Chiefs can rely on this run game. And please, for love of God, stop playing Clyde. That's all I ask.
That's a whole.
That's all. Yeah. I think the Chiefs win this one pretty comfortably, though. I'm going to say like 30-13, 30-20. And I think the Vikings may have a backdoor cover because of garbage time. And that's what Kirk Cousins does for his production. He gets a lot of garbage time. So I'll say Chiefs like 30-20. That'll be my prediction. Last game of the Sunday slate, probably the best game of the weekend. Cowboys at 49ers. 49ers are -3.5.
I think everyone is sort of not taking the Cowboys seriously enough in this game. Their defense is really good. They still have talent. I'm going to take the Niners because they're like the Bills. I'm not taking them to lose until I see something different. But I think it'll be a tougher game than people think. But I'm trusting McCaffrey and Purdy and Kyle, and I'm excited. I'm like actually excited. And I'm happy that I'm excited for a primetime game because most of them have sucked. Give me Niners, and it's going to be like 23-20, 21. Going to be something.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much of a difference between Brock Purdy and Dak. I think they're both solid. But I'm not a huge fan of either of them. But I think the coaching is going to be the big difference in this game. And I don't trust Mike McCarthy that much. And I think Kyle Shanahan will have a good game plan. And they just have so many weapons on that side of the ball. I mean, George Kittle is not even doing that much. He's probably their fourth best weapon at this point. So
yeah, he's due for a big game at some point, though. He's due.
I mean, we'll see.
It's not like he's playing bad. It's just
I just don't. When you watch the Cowboys, I mean, it's not like the throws Dak is making is like very impressive. I've not been impressed by Dak at all. He's just a game manager at this point, and the defense. You can run on this Dallas defense. I mean, I think Arizona kind of proved that. If you run towards Michael Parsons' side because they're so aggressive in the pass rush, you could run on the Cowboys. So I think the 49ers covered the spread. I'm going to say 24-20. That's probably my score.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close on it. I think Cowboys do compete and make it tough, though.
Last game of the week, and good God, because we have a couple friends who are Packers fans. If they find a way to lose this game. And we do have a friend that's a Raiders fan. Two of them are brothers, which is kind of ironic. One's a Packers fan, one's a Raiders fan.
It's dumb.
Packers at Raiders. Packers -1.
Patriots fan.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, doesn't make sense. But go on.
In Kansas City. They've always lived in Kansas City. But yes, I think the Raiders suck. I think Jordan Love has his moments. I think he's like, if you told me I have to have Jordan Love as my quarterback for 4 years, I'm like, that's fine. Maybe it could be better. Maybe he'll disappoint a little, but Jordan Love is like, he has enough, like, he's come back. He's sort of done these things. He can run. He makes some nice throws. He hasn't really played football in 4 years. He's played like 1 or 2 games in 4 years. So he's going to take some used to. But I like what I see from the Packers in general. Joe Barry as my Packers fan friend. He does not like Joe Barry. I don't think anyone likes Joe Barry. But they're getting healthier from injury. Obviously, they don't have Bakhtiari, but Christian Watson, Aaron Jones should play more. Maybe Jair's back. So I see Raiders losing. I think Packers, it's one of those where it's like it's never close, but it's never a blowout, but it's never like – it's one of those. So like 27-20 Packers. Devontae probably does really well because he's Devontae. And he's playing Packers for the first time.
Yeah, I think Packers win. I still don't know how I truly feel about the Packers right now. I mean, they're 2 wins against Chicago and the Saints.
I'm not saying they're anything special, but I think I've seen enough.
And the thing, watching Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm so happy that he's not on the 49ers here. And he's my argument for all these years.
Garoppolo may have beat the Chargers last week, though.
I don't know.
Maybe.
My argument is finally becoming validated or being validated.
I honestly think you're not fully validated. I think he's a little better at things. I think he's more mobile.
Did you not watch the Pittsburgh game?
I watched the Pittsburgh game. He made some nice throws in it as well. I think.
Yeah, but the 3 picks he threw,
one of them was
that's what he did in San Francisco, but he got away with it because it either dropped or because they were ahead in games so much that it was like
staying there. But I still think like he's clearly better than Aiden O'Connell. So, like, I think some people thought Aiden O'Connell was going to be upgrades. Like, no, Jimmy Garoppolo's better. Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy I love on the Falcons. Not love, but like.
All right, that's the end of our podcast.
That's not a bad one. That's not bad. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo on the Falcons is bad. Kyle Pitts and Ludden at least get the ball.
Sure.
I don't like.
But I think Packers win this one. We were talking about this yesterday as well. Texting our friends. I think the Packers should go out and get Jonathan Taylor. And this, because A.J. Dillon, they want to be a ground and pound team, and A.J. Dillon's supposed to be that physical running back, and he's just not it. And I really like the Packers. Like Romeo Dobbs, very solid. Christian Watson,
that's also
very solid.
Yeah, they have like
Jay Reed, very solid. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo, and Devontae Adams is not 100%. So I think the Packers win this game by at least a touchdown. I think defense could take over this game.
Yeah.
And you may hear the Boo Birds come out in Vegas. I mean, it could be.
Games did we disagree on? Rams, Texans, Colts.
Did you pick Bengals? You picked Bengals, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm like.
Okay, I picked Cardinals.
Yeah, I have 4 right now.
You picked Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I picked the
That's 5. That's definitely most because we agree on a lot of games a lot.
Oh, Texans, Falcons.
I said that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think we just agreed
on
5.
Rams, Texans, Falcons, Patriots, Texans. 5. Not bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting because most of the weeks we've been agreeing on all the games. So, this will be a different week.
God,
but that will do it.
Sad to pick the Patriots in my life.
Yeah, well, I can't believe you bet on them. That was just like when you did that. I'm like,
okay, Gonzalez got hurt and Judon got hurt.
They still are not going to win that game.
Obviously, the offensive line is terrible as well. All these quarterbacks.
Yeah, but Mac Jones is not good. Like I think we have to. Like I've never.
He makes dumb things, but like, when you get these quarterbacks,
he's a limited quarterback. Here's the thing.
I know he's limited.
Topic, and we should close our show out. But Mac Jones, the one thing about Mac Jones coming in the league. He's going to execute your offense. He's not going to be this dynamic player. And they're like, oh, he's super accurate. He doesn't turn over the ball. He'll run your offense. And he turns over your ball.
And he has no weapons. I'm tired of putting faith in teams with no weapons. That's my problem. I put faith in teams.
I'm tired of you putting faith in quarterbacks that are not good.
No, the later thing is one thing.
Guys, if you don't realize, Luke is a fan of Daniel Jones. And I'm a fan of Justin Fields. That's 1. Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, He's got the Jones brothers. He has Zach Wilson, who I'm not even, it's been a game. And if you guys don't know, Luke's nickname is Fluke. That game was also a fluke. There's 3 right there. And there's probably a few more that he likes. They're just, this guy put money on the Patriots, guys. So if you guys ever want advice about football, just go to, if you had to choose between 2 of us, it's definitely me.
Sorry, I can't predict the whole team to get hurt.
I did do that as well. But yeah, so that will do it for this week's episode. We'll see how week 5 plays out, and week 6 we will also do takeaways. Or next week we'll do takeaways from week 5, and we'll probably do trade pieces. So players that could get traded and possible landing spots for them. But until then, make sure to like the video and subscribe.
Peace.